Good morning and welcome to Is It Really Worth It podcast with Sean Byrne. We have this morning a very, very fascinating man, and I think we're going to find a lot more about this man this morning. But firstly, let me say thank you to our sponsors, Tripod Crest Limited, for all your tarmac, planing and civil engineering work. He's your go-to guy. We also want to cover and thank Renate Recovery for your ice chambers and rapid recovery from heavy duty sports. Thank you very much. So this morning I'm with MOHAMMED Ahmed. Good morning, Mo.
Good morning, sir. And thank you so much. We're still waiting for the special person to come in.
He's here.
He's here?
He's here. He's right here.
I'm still looking around the room, waiting for him. So, absolutely flattered and honoured to see you this morning. And thank you. And thank your sponsors as well.
Well, we, as a collective, came to a conclusion that you would give a massively inspiring, motivating podcast, Mo. We're sitting in the Archways real estate office here in Northampton. It is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful office. People see the success, but they don't see the struggle, Mo. This is generally the case with a lot of success stories.
Sure.
People always look from the outside and think, oh, so successful, but they don't see what struggle you've gone through. So let's take it back to the beginning. To your beginnings.
Yeah, how long have we got?
What year were you born?
77, lucky number, 1977.
Year after the hot summer. You just missed out on that one.
Well, they called me the hot. Yeah, not going to say totty. Cut that, please. I absolutely, 1977, May the 12th. Which last month, which was my birthday, and I turned 45. So, great year for me. And I don't know what it is, but even that symbol, the 77, probably everybody says that about their birthdays, and it's the best year. Something about the 77, which I
my lucky number.
Yeah.
7.
It's just something about it. So I'm truly blessed to be part of that year.
Right. What's your job title, Mo?
My job title, so I'm a director at Archways.
Right. You say director, but that would be an umbrella.
Yes.
For not just a director, you're a man with a heart who cares for other people, I think, way more than most bosses, however you want to sit yourself at.
Yeah.
But you do so much more, Mo, for your staff, your clients, than most property, developers.
Yes.
What we've seen already is very, very relevant to the point of you're a very personal guy. You like to, make people feel, which is so honourable and lost in today's society. There's no more personal connection. There's no more, but you've brought something to the town, really, and hopefully to the country, where a lot more people will sit back, stand up, and take a lot more notice of how you're running your business. Mm-hmm. So, born in 1977.
Yes.
Take it from there.
So, was born from St James, little area near the train station in Northampton.
Very humble.
Yeah, very humble. Look, background-wise, my father worked for British Rail. He was like a lot of immigrants and people coming from out of, the UK. He's from Saudi and Bangladesh, and so he moved to London, and then, like a lot of people, moved along. But he met my mother, obviously, and they moved to Northampton because the train line was great. It was a direct line. And St James was a haven because it was 5 minutes from the train station. And still to this day, I use that analogy, and to my investors and people coming to Northampton, what great service, the network and the access we have to the M1 and 25 corridor. But I loved living where I did because I think it grounded me a lot. And I used the phrase normal people. It was just normal life. 2-bed upstairs bathroom, terraced house. We have a large, many brothers and sisters, so we shared, rooms and everything else, until we were able to, get a bigger house. But we walked everywhere, which was great. So again, well, being in St James town centre was, for me back then, 15 to 20 minutes. I can do it in 8 minutes now. Slightly longer legs and a bit faster. But I loved that we had St James Park. Again, had good and bad memories, like everywhere. But we had green space, so we were very lucky as youngsters growing up. I think my parents allowed us to go and be free, to a degree. And having the park on our doorstep was phenomenal, as a youngster.
Victoria Park?
Yeah, Victoria Park.
Yeah, Victoria Park,
absolutely. My grand still lives in St James Park Road, which was pretty much our haven. We had Oliver Adams. People might not know who they are, but big bakery. They had the old depot on St James Park Road.
Right.
So we used to go in there and get our fresh donuts and custard creams, custard tarts.
Little tarts.
Seems 8 to 12 pence, and really showing my age, but it was a treat, absolute treat on a Saturday or Sunday, that we would save up and go and get. So as an area, it was great, for access. Went to St James Lower School, and then to Spencer Middle School, which again, was great. I mean, I know people used to always stigmatise every school. It didn't have the best reputation.
Well, Mark, I'm just going to go there. I'm just going to touch down on this. In the area you grew up in and the schools you went to, crime was very, very relevant. I'm not saying that them schools were any less than any other school. What kept you away from crime? Because there would have been crossroads, Mo, where you could have made the choice to turn right instead of left. And it could have went down the wrong path. But what has, kept you motivated and strong enough to stay going straight forward?
It's a hard one, isn't it, to answer. However, I think there's been, you're absolutely right, many times in my life where we see it, joyriding, burglaries. It was scary, for my parents. I think, many times they thought about moving. We couldn't afford to. And so, I think we adapted a slightly different approach, looking after each other, my brothers and sisters. But I think, my father, from a young age, thought, right, I've got to send him to school and give him the discipline, which probably did help. At the time, trust me, we hated it, with passion and, but went to Arabic school, went to Saturday Bengali school, as well as our normal English school.
Brilliant.
I think so.
So your education was paramount for your parents?
So much, My mum was a teacher, and when she worked at military lower schools. So she had a background from translator to then became a teacher full time. So education was really ingrained on us, massively, without us even feeling it. It was done with love, of course it was. But I think, like any child at the time, what do you want to do? play football,
Yeah.
go watch television,
Yeah.
have ice creams, and go joyriding.
Yeah.
You know, where a lot of my friends would often after school, and I'd see it. You know, where not going to obviously say any names. I don't know who you are, but they would have a car.
You're in my life.
And of course, they were 14, 15. And you think, wow, they are so cool. In their Ford Escorts and whatever. And they'd have, coming to school, parking around the corner. After school, they'd jump in and, go for a ride. I mean, I really wanted to be part of it. And as you said, so close.
Yeah.
So many times. But I was petrified. If I got caught, my father would beat us black and blue. So it wasn't worth it. But it was that which kind of instilled, not the fear. It was more because what they'd put us through.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
It was respect, out of respect as well.
Yeah. And disciplined upbringing.
Massively. Yeah. Huge discipline. Again, when you look back, you think, as we spoke earlier, and early days, gosh, it was awful. However, when you then, over the course of life, when you think, I get it, now I understand, from the littlest things, if we ever went to the sweet shop and if I took a sweet out of my brother's, they'd find out and we'd have an argument. My dad would make sure he'd tell us, you've done wrong. It's not yours to have. And it's those little things that you think actually work for it and, own what is yours. And it tastes nicer.
Yeah.
That kind of philosophy. And I think, the absolute paramount thing that, discipline was number one. Education was number one.
Yeah.
Being polite, courteous was number one.
Manners.
It was all of those things. It was never a 1, 2, and 3. It wasn't first this, first that. It was all of those.
Yeah.
You think, as a child, you think, well, hang on a minute, which one is it?
Yeah, there's
What's
so many
more
number
important?
ones going on here.
Always, you think, well, no, hang on a minute. Do I eat? Do I wash? Do I brush my teeth? You do all of it.
Yeah.
So, actually, it's never about thinking who's more important than who. What's more important than what. And I think that, you piece it together over... Of course, I've made a million mistakes in life because of that, because I've second-chosen what's more important. It's all important.
Yeah.
And then once you understand that and you think, we said earlier, it's the mechanisms that kick in of background and your upbringing and, how you've maintained that childhood to mediumhood to adulthood.
Yeah.
I know mediumhood's not a word, so apologies, but, it's that in between because it's finding who you are.
That's right.
Because you've been given all the assets and the facilities and all the education and the love and everything, but of course we want more as children or young teenagers. We aspire to want what we don't have.
That's right.
And we think we're being shortchanged. You never lose or miss what you don't have, but you want it. So then I became a little bit more self-taught, and that was the mechanism of my childhood where I thought, actually, work for it.
Work. Yeah.
Get it. There's only one way to achieve.
Work.
Work.
And work hard.
Work hard. The harder you work, the more you can have.
Yeah.
And it's not a monetary thing, but, I loved training, when I was younger and, we had, the dumbbells like a lot of people did back in the day. And, but we used to share it. So we used to take it in times. So I thought that was one of the first things I really worked for. So it took 12 years old, put a bow tie on. Actually, my mum says I came out with a bow tie on. So I don't know. I still want to see the picture. Probably did. And I say bow tie in an analogy who people don't know me, background in restaurants.
Yeah.
Restaurant life was our culture, bread and butter. And I loved it. It was a stage for me to become who I am today and understand myself.
So, You've left school.
Yes.
What was your first job?
So restaurant.
In town?
Yes. It was the Maharaja on the Wellingborough Road.
Oh no, beautiful.
Yeah, loved that restaurant. And again, you know, it's inspiration, isn't it? As a child, gosh, you know, looking back even now, it's probably one of the best looking restaurants back then. It had fish tanks.
By far.
You know, it had all the arches. It was just inspirational to me as a young child. And but it was my choice, and I've got to say that obviously for the record and for people who know, it was definitely, you know, when people say, you know, you can say obviously Asians are, their parents sent them to work and all of that. It was never the case. We wanted to, and I was desperate to work because I wanted to learn and get an income.
Yeah.
Naturally, to buy the things that I wanted. I didn't want to go to my mum and dad and say, please give me some
Commendable.
more,
Very
and everything else, because they didn't have it.
Yeah.
So our philosophy was go and work.
Go and work.
And that was it. So I fell into it, and I fell in love. I'll be honest.
At that, right, so you're making solid decisions now to go to work, but you would have still been open to any kind of, you know, there would have been crime massively around St James and Spencer back in them days.
Yes.
You know, it was a hotbed for lively behaviour. So you would have had ample choices to make mistakes.
Yes.
So you kept focused and worked your backside off.
Yes.
So your first job was in the Maharaja. Where did it go from there?
So I then went full time. There was a restaurant in Towcester. It was called the Jewel of the Crown, and Watling Street. Again, I wanted to spread my wings. And actually, it's funny you said about the whole crime thing, because when I was in Northampton, so my eyes were opening up to a different world,
Yeah.
as you just rightfully said. And because remember, my hours of working was now, I was a big boy in a big world. I was working nights, you know, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
So
you're seeing a different
oh
side.
gosh, yeah, so much.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting, but it was crazy because I'd never been out. So my first taste of nightlife was working.
And you're probably you're on the Vegas Strip there on the Wellingborough Road.
I was in the thick of it.
It's a little bit busy up there.
Well, I mean, my gosh, and back then, I mean, you know, the pubs, the locals, it was, you know, and everyone who knows Northampton, Wellingborough, it still is, but a haven for obviously drinking.
Yeah.
So I was on the other side. I wasn't the drinker. I was the server. So
And an observer.
and an observer, and that's my biggest take. And I'm a people watcher. I love people watching because
Yeah.
I love learning. You know, that's my biggest passion is understanding people. I'm not a academic, but my academic belief is learning
Yeah.
from people
Yeah.
live, and that's the beauty of seeing your facial expressions, your mannerisms,
Yeah.
your body language, how you speak, and I picked that up in restaurants because in that world people are coming for an experience.
That's right, yeah.
People are coming with families, their children for the first time, last time, girlfriends, boyfriends. People proposed in restaurants.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw the whole spectrum from start to scratch, but also the violence.
I was just going to say, you're at the end of the Vegas Strip when people are on their
Yes.
way into town.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can vouch for you here, Mo, by, I've seen some,
Yeah.
you know, the Wellingborough Road's renowned.
It was shocking.
Yeah, and
We'd see it.
because of the position of that restaurant, you're probably more open to seeing the crazy
Yeah.
behaviour than most places
Yeah.
in Northampton, because
Yes.
a lot of the problems, what would appear from the Wellingborough Road, they're normally getting nicked before they hit Abington Square because they've all kicked off before they get there.
Absolutely, and now it makes sense because every time as a youngster I used to go to work and put my bow tie on and do my hair and everything else and go outside and see how proud I am. I used to always see police cars.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's odd, you know, because it was new to me.
Yeah.
I say new to me, obviously, you know, from growing up in St James, King's Heath, Spencer, where I pretty much grew up, and friends and family. It was there, but this was on a different scale.
Totally different
I didn't
scale.
understand why. What you know, this is, you know,
Yeah.
grown-up people. You know,
Yeah.
I thought it was just kids who made the trouble. Clearly not.
Oh no, this is the Welly Road we're talking
You know,
about now.
and actually, it was an eye-opener. It was a learning life lesson in so many ways. Where probably, even now, looking back, is why I was probably a little bit more prepared in life than my siblings and people who weren't in the big ugly world
Yeah.
that nobody saw. It's the uncovered stuff that you see, unreported. For instance, you know, the drinking on the Wellington Road. So we saw the aftermath. And sadly, I mean, the amount of fights,
Yeah.
you'd think in a restaurant of a certain character and the style,
That there
Why?
wouldn't be many.
there wouldn't be many.
Wrong.
So 11 o'clock was pub closing time
Yeah.
back then. We used to have 3 servings, it was called back in, you know, those days. And it was first session, medium session, and the late night. Now, every restaurant, you know, we have to get income. I now understand.
Yeah.
Because then, as a youngster, I mean, I was sweating, and let me tell you, I used to have to take 2 shirts to work sometimes. And I've never actually told, you know, people, because of the amount of foot traffic
Yeah.
that we had.
Yeah.
But you know, the last, you know, evening after 11 o'clock, you can see the ambience and the noise and the change.
Yep. Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
It was always the record had been changed.
There's like a 15-minute window.
Honestly, it was eerie.
Yeah, it
It
goes.
was an eerie moment. It was like, okay, yeah, you know, and we all got used to it. I mean, there was boys who were, again, my age, you know, 15, 16, 17, and, you know, again, you know, had never seen anything like this, and they weren't, you know, in that world. They'd not socialised in a pub, not had a drink, not really, you know, been there. So, wow, how scary it must have been for them.
Yeah.
And I say for them, I mean, it was for me, but for some reason, I kind of took it on the chin. I just adapted.
Yeah.
And I think because of the way that maybe again you know, the upbringing and the way the obedience and everything else, and you know, we were taught. But those days when between 11 and 12 o'clock, we could get something like 15, 20 people come in, you know, guys absolutely smashed, drunk.
Yeah.
And again, then you don't realise because you think, why they so? Because I wasn't a drinker then. And how you can get to a state of that condition,
Yeah.
and they don't realise.
Nope.
Because obviously, how can they? And the mannerisms and the terminology and the body language and the weight they were throwing around, it was scary.
Yeah.
It was really scary.
So how long were you working there for?
So, gosh, I did 2 years, and then moved to Toaster,
Right.
which was, for me, as I say, I wanted a slightly different way of life, and I knew I had to change that, because I could have stayed there, and honestly, I say it all the time, I thought it was the best way to learn. I still do, probably not, but you know, I thrived because I wanted to. I did it with smile.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure my glasses were the cleanest. I made sure that I was the fastest server, you know, because food industry.
It's it goes back to that old ode, what Muhammad Ali said: if you're going to have a job and you're a street sweeper, be the best one in the world.
Absolutely, why not?
And you see these kids coming through now, they miss that bit.
Yeah,
Be the best you can be.
yeah,
Don't matter what you choose to
No.
be the best at it.
Absolutely.
And we're all capable of it.
Yes.
Every one of us. So you've made a conscious decision to move out of Northampton to feel, not just to feel, but to, could you see yourself going very far in the Maharaja?
I think I could have been. I could have stayed there happily.
Head waiter,
Absolutely.
manager.
Of course. And we then ended up buying restaurants, which which became off the back of it. However, I think if I stayed there, what happened was we then started getting into that culture of accepting that we are who we are in a position, and we only serve to certain people, and then we jump on that cycle.
Yeah.
So the drinking then became apparent that people who worked in restaurants, because remember, you and I, we do a 9 till 5 job. We finish 5:30, then it's downtime. No one goes to sleep, right?
Yeah.
You go home, you go to the gym,
Yeah.
you chill, you have some food, watch some videos, DVD, whatever, then you go to sleep.
Yeah.
So when I finished work, and this is the change where I started work 5 o'clock in the evening, finishing at 12, 1 o'clock at night.
That was in the restaurant.
In the restaurant. What do you do after 12, 1 o'clock at work? You don't go home and sleep, do you? You should. What do you do?
Go and have a drink, something to eat.
And that was the thing. But where do you go? So all that was open was clubs,
Yeah. Yeah.
bars.
And generally, by that time, with the alcohol consumed,
Yep.
there is 95% chance of trouble in that club.
And that's what I experienced. So I used to go out.
Yeah.
I started going out, Bridge Street, we'd get ready, we'd do our session, because we needed stimulation as youngsters. We want, I say youngsters,
Well,
everybody,
Yeah, you've been working hard all day.
right?
You need a release.
Of course you do. We want to have fun.
Yeah, of course. You're a young man.
We want to spend some of the money we've earned.
Yeah,
They're
deservedly
the
so.
things, and they're the list of things that society perhaps says, work hard, play hard. Yes,
Yeah,
but what is play hard? As youngsters or as beings, do we truly understand?
that's right.
Because I'll be honest, I didn't until I went through it. And I was in that category where work hard, play harder.
Yeah,
What did that mean? I didn't understand it, but it was work Friday, Saturday night, we'd get paid, let's go town. So we'd go night clubbing, we'd dance, and I have passion for music and dancing. Not very good, but I'll give it a bash.
Yeah.
And I loved it. However, it was the dark side of life.
Yeah.
And that was very on edge, because
Yeah.
as you rightfully said, how do you know when you're in a different world? So it's not an eye opener, it's an eye opener.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. I've got to the stage now where I think work hard, relax harder.
And you know what? You couldn't say. I now have a balance, and
And that's what it's just finding that.
it's the life balance. Every individual's different. No one person will be the same. And now I get that as well, because again, back then, I used to say to people, play harder, train harder, work harder. And it is all those things, but people need to understand what that means to them.
That's right.
And they have to appreciate and accept how much work they want to do, how much play they want to do. But there's nothing wrong with understanding that balance. No one will get it immediately, but everyone will know their individual balance.
Yeah.
I didn't for years. As I say, I worked really hard, I played really harder, and I just kept going. But, it was an opening where, as you said, the trouble started when you went into town.
Yeah.
So we'd go to nightclubs, people already pissed.
Yeah.
I've just joined the scene, so
Stone cold sober.
stone cold sober, 10 minutes.
For half a drink.
Please. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Dad, everybody. Good Muslim on a Monday to Thursday. English on a Friday to Saturday. I'll stick to that one. Cut that, please. No, look, I love life. I love life, and I am who I am. And I really did. And I embraced that culture. Because again, and I said to, a couple of you guys earlier, I love culture, I love people, and it's to love culture, you have to understand culture.
You have to understand it.
Be that culture, or be in that culture.
Yeah.
Having friends from ethnic backgrounds, Chinese, Muslim, African, English, whatever it was. And I loved that. But as I said, the violence that we saw in town was shocking. It's horrific. Because people didn't know how to handle their alcohol. They didn't know how to treat people. Mannerisms changed. Went out the window. Whereas if I ever bumped into somebody, I am apologetic to the moment that I want to buy them a drink. The beer spillage and all of that. It's all happened to us back. At any time. It's an accident. And, in those days when the social scene, which was great, but it was also very ambiguous when you're on a dance floor. Yeah. You bump into somebody.
Yeah, it could be very hostile.
That moment can be a game changer.
That's right.
And as a young adult, thriving, loving weight training, everything else, I had testosterone. However, it was the remembrance of my father that violence, you should never.
No, it's never the answer.
Never the answer.
And it's never, ever the end.
No.
It should never be.
Absolutely. And I always said, my friends will always say this, always use my mouth first before fists. Always. Not because I was, I couldn't talk and I couldn't fight, so I was very lucky. But I'd give it a shot, I'd give it a bash. And I'd always, apologise. And I'll try and diffuse that situation with my words. And it was always that moment where I remember as a younger child, I had a lot of aggression for different reasons. And it was that 10-second rule that I remember my father always said. My mum always said, 10 seconds, just look down. And then do what you were going to do. And it's true. It's true, because
decisions can change within them 10 seconds so rapidly.
Yeah, absolutely. When people say sleep on it, there's a reason why. When people say turn around, walk away, there's a reason. There's all these reasons. At the time you don't. But honestly, I promise you, it's a life lesson. That I stick to. Even how, if I want to speak to a client, if they're wrong. It's not about the customer's always right. The words that I will use.
It's not always the case that the customer's always right, Mo.
It's not.
And I think you will know that more than I will.
Massively.
But sometimes you've got to let them feel they're right.
Correct.
Even if they're wrong.
Absolutely. But also, the other thing is, you've got to understand, we might be wrong. And you know what? And it's not even about a right or wrong sometimes. It's about, actually, maybe there is a middle ground. Maybe I thought it was this and it isn't that. So we learn every day, and I get myself in a position where I like to listen, take it in, and if I don't agree with it, I want to think about it more now. I want to think about it more because I want to do the best for the person. And by thinking about it more, it's the best decision that I would have been happy with. The next words which will come out of my mouth, it's got to be, thoughtful. It's got to come from the heart and the head. Not just a reaction. And we are in life constantly reactive.
Bad decisions can be made from bad reactions.
Absolutely. And again, you just said that, when my father drank lots of tea, I now am a tea drinker. Gosh, I never was, but I do. And kind of, mold into that way by habit now, but drinking a cup of tea and thinking about certain aspects of what am I going to do about this situation, what I'm, not bad, but just life decisions. It's nice to reflect and think, and I think we're not a nation of We're a nation of doers,
But not thinkers.
but not thinkers.
I like that.
And that's what it is. I'm a doer, but I'm a thinker first.
Yeah.
Oh, I am now. Well, I think I am. You
Yeah,
know?
well, could it be that you're thinking correctly before you move?
I need to. I want to. And I'll tell you what.
But Mo, everybody does.
Yes, however, when you have got the public, I see myself as frontline, as in agency. So, now that, it's been 25 years I've been in real estate, I've learned a lot from people, who've come to me for help, advice, information, buy, sell a house, whatever it is. So the learning curve has been phenomenal. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's huge. And they're the things that, I have got to think the best for them and for you. It's not about me. It's never been about me. So when you understand and grasp that, then it's a different take on life. Or for me it was.
Yeah.
And it's now because you grow with people, together. All of this, what we have achieved, hasn't happened overnight, and will not continue overnight. It's a thought process that goes behind every single position.
Yeah.
McDonald's, the big chains, Cafe Nero's, all of these food chains. People might think, they were overnight wonders. They were not.
Oh, they've fought tooth and nail for a lot of years.
Right. Every single big name, Lidl, Aldi. I mean, I was just reading about them the other day.
Yeah.
The brothers in the business. I mean, they go back 1960s.
Yeah, you see?
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
So when
They see the success, they don't see the struggle, Mo.
No, absolutely.
You know.
That's it. And we don't showcase that enough.
Yeah.
About how we get to what we want. Everything is achievable. Every dream is possible. Everything is touchable. No one is better than anyone. No one is worse than anyone. We have the same ambition in life. It's what do we do with it?
Yeah.
Do we wake up and think, right, okay, we write our list, or we put it in our head? We don't have to be able to write, but if we can't write, go and get help.
Yeah.
Speak.
Yeah.
Speak out loud. Ask for it. Because I was always a, can I, can't I? I was a questioner. I mean, that's not a word either, but I was always questioning.
Yeah.
How do I want to be better. But it wasn't I want to be better because I want to be the best. At some point it was.
You want to better yourself.
Correct.
Yeah.
And by doing that, then it absolutely, it changed. There was moments in my life where as soon as I became accomplishing things in life, I thought, hold on a minute, it's doable.
Yeah.
It's absolutely doable.
Yeah.
Car, house, whatever. It's attitude.
I think, I could be wrong in saying this, you've never been scared of your own success.
No.
A lot of people are though, Mo.
Yeah, yes, I agree. I've never seen it as, success though.
But you see, that's right. So you don't see where you're at now as a success. Bear in mind, people only see they don't see the struggle. Only you know the struggle, and I think we're kind of unraveling a bit of your struggle now. But for you to say that means there's still a whole lot more.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So now let me just, right, I'm going to take you back to, when did you start real estate? So you must have been around 20, 21?
18. I was 18
John was
years
18.
old. 18 years old, I remember. 18 years old. I shouldn't say this, but I ran away from home for a couple of weeks. Had an English girlfriend then. So that's why I shouldn't say it, but obviously everyone knows.
Yeah.
And it was kind of when it did change. So I ran away from home, from Northampton. And I say ran away, I wanted to move out, is the right terminology. But obviously as an Asian background, it's unheard of, uncalled for. It was scary. I mean, I had no money, nothing. And,
Right.
Jumped in my car and went.
So you left Northampton.
Yep. went to a place called Barnsley.
Oh no, Barnsley.
Yeah.
The Metrodome.
Yes, Metrodome. Oh my gosh! Wow. Absolutely.
I boxed at the Metrodome.
Wow. Yes. Yeah.
Right. So you're up in Barnsley.
Yes.
You start working in property.
No. So I worked in restaurant. Look, you know, the life. What it teaches you, you grow and gravitate to what you know.
Stick to what you know.
Stick to what you know.
Yeah.
Stick to what you know. So my skill set wasn't the skill set, but I spoke the different languages. I went there, and I knew within days I needed to get a job.
Yeah.
Because you know we were sharing a bedroom in a house, and but I needed income. There was no two ways about it. Life, you know, and it's funny, isn't it? You know, I'd already been on that roller coaster of work, life. So as soon as I left, first thing I needed to do was get a job.
Yeah, good man.
And it wasn't about how much. So I literally went through Yellow Pages, if nobody knows what that is. It was a yellow book.
Yeah, a big old yellow book.
It was great. It was great for me. Yeah. And I'll tell you another. The true story is there was another place in Toaster with my cousin. One day we got the Yellow Pages. We wanted to better ourselves. And I looked at Oxford because I thought, you know, the city is amazing. They will pay more money, and they did.
A beautiful city.
Yep. So from Toaster, I got a job on a Sunday afternoon. Me and my cousin went through the Yellow Pages. I circled 3 restaurants, and we had the payphone. And I called them, and I said I was the most experienced waiter, had 4 years experience, true story. Yeah. And I got a job like that, and I got £100 extra per week.
Oh, lovely.
I made the move within a week. So that's, you know, going back to how you can change your life is within split moments, but you have to believe.
Yeah.
And go for it.
Yeah.
If you want an income, you want more, it's there. It was in the Yellow Pages, it's in the internet.
But what you did, you stepped out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So you're up in Barnsley. You've got yourself a job?
Yeah, so I went to this restaurant. I mean, yeah, they didn't know me for Adam, and but you know what? It was an Asian restaurant. They were great. They gave me a job first weekend. Loved it. I was like,
did you sell yourself as the best waiter again?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. And I delivered. I really did, because not that I speak good English, but they were very, not northern, but they had a quite strong twang.
Yeah.
And I know.
It's grim up north.
Yeah, up north. But they had a northern Asian twang.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It really was. All of accents.
Well, I've got a lot of pals from Bradford.
Yeah.
They're Asian lads, and they've got the best accent. I love.
Bro, let me tell you, bro.
Bro.
Bro. Listen, bro. I'll tell you what. No, I won't start accents. I love it, and but I'm rubbish. So yeah, started. They were great. They were like, oh my god, you know, yeah, you're well spoken, clean. Yeah, starts Friday night. So within a week, I had my job. So it was tick. So, you know, salvation, isn't it? Is that mental attitude. So as soon as I started, I was able to start putting a little bit of money together to get a rented accommodation.
Yeah.
Which was the next thing. I wanted to make sure that I had a roof over my head. For me, not taking advantage or not taking liberty or...
Where you could have quite easily went to the social.
Absolutely.
You know, you could have depended on the state.
Correct.
You didn't. You went out.
Yeah.
You worked hard.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was never a thing. I'll be honest. It didn't even enter my head. That's the scary thing. When I look back, it wasn't something that I wanted to actually do. So yeah, I just went with it. It's kind of self-taught. By my father's beliefs.
You were disciplined.
Disciplined.
Correctly.
That's the word, discipline.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. And it was, as I said earlier, there's a boxes to tick, and they were all number one. Food, work, roof. They were all number one. It wasn't which was more important. Had to eat, had to live, had to have a roof. So they're all important with every single one. It was not one important over the other. They were all live.
They're all under the same umbrella.
Under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, sometimes I think we forget, you know, oh, I tell you what, I'll hoover today and then I'll wash the bathroom. It's all important. Doesn't matter how you do it.
You see, I think it's that culture of compartmentalizing a lot of things in people's lives, and
Yes.
they put that box there and that box there when they're all in the same box, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You couldn't say it better. That is it. When people say, I'll go shopping tomorrow and then I'll do the garden the next day. They're all relevant things, and do you know what? It's just an analogy. However, let's talk about bills, electric, gas, water. You've got to pay for every single one of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter in what order.
Yeah.
You've got to
They've
pay
all
for
got to be paid.
It's fact.
Yeah.
Fact of life. And I think we do. We're human. Our human DNA says, you know what? I'll think about that bill tomorrow. I'll think about that tomorrow. You shouldn't. And that's where I think, I will never do, is because they're all number one.
Yeah.
Priority.
They're all relevant.
And how we get there and how we do it is one thing: work hard.
Yeah.
Work hard, earn that income,
Yeah.
pay them all. Because you've got to pay them all.
That's right.
It's a life's balance sheet you've got to pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that balance sheet doesn't go away.
No. And it's generally unbalanced most of your life.
All the time.
Yeah.
But it's when people say getting the right balance, that's the balance sheet
Yeah.
of life that I've always put a sheet, and they're all number one priorities.
That's right.
So I'll do it as I go along, and I'll learn as I'm going along, and that's what I've done. But going back to the Barnsley restaurant, I met a chap who was an agent, and he was a regular customer, and I used to be that guy who used to say, no, don't look at the menu, let me tell you about the dishes.
Yeah.
For the night. And he was like, oh, right, okay. So I'd get to know them, and I was.
So you're selling them their meal without them even looking at the menu.
I absolutely loved it. I used to love playing with food. I love food. Food is our soul.
Yeah.
It's the way of life. It's our culture. It's our heritage. So people who didn't know about Asian cuisine, Indian food, I did. I knew how to cook. So it was a passion. It was a love. How lovely to share, to tell somebody how something's made, and actually going through it by detail.
Yeah, but not just how it's made, how it makes you feel.
Absolutely.
Because food evokes feelings.
100%. No, I never actually even knew that, because I was just the way that was how I was brought up. But it was a massive ingredient, pardon the pun, that was integral to the way of shaping my life. Was the same integrity of, and I call it the marination of life.
We're going to marinate that bit.
But the way I say that, a rack of lamb or a roast lamb or whatever it is, lamb chops, we get it, and there's a process.
Yeah.
We get it, we clean it, we slice it, we dice it, we marinate it with our taste buds, we play with it, and we put it away to let it marinate. And we leave it, some people over 7 days, some people 21 days, some people 2 days, some people 2 hours. It doesn't matter about how long, but it's that process of what's happening, and then we stick it in the oven and everything else. It's that process.
Yeah.
And then how it makes that other person feel.
Yeah.
As well as that first bite.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's, I know it's so silly, but it's the same things that when we think education, life, choices, all of that was a marination of what we become afterwards.
And your education.
Yes.
Not just at school, but at home.
100%. I mean, home life, after school life. I mean, for me, as I said, I wasn't a brainiac as my brother and sisters were. But brainiac is formed in different ways.
That's right.
I understand that now.
Yeah.
I didn't then, and I was okay with that, absolutely. But I was becoming a brainiac in the restaurant world.
Yeah.
I was understanding about how is that cooked and what flavours, and I'd taste it, because then I was passing that on to the customers, the clients, the people, the families who were coming in. So they would come in on a Friday and say, Mo, what are we going to have? Tell me, talk to me.
Yeah. So you've taken the menu process totally out of the picture 100%. Now. So you're getting a personal rapport with that person.
Yes. Yeah.
You could give them a different dish every time they come in.
And I did, and you know what? Because I was understanding more about them.
Yeah.
Without me knowing. So these are the things that again, in life, we just pick up, but we've got to understand that it takes time. It's
Well,
not-
I think with that process of what you're doing there, you're creating a personal connection.
yeah,
You're giving the client a lot more hunger to come back
yeah.
because of the personal connection they're feeling with
Yes,
you now.
yeah. I always used to get a drink as soon as I saw them outside coming in,
Yeah.
because I was then number one bartender. I'd get John and Sandra, a couple. They'll know who they are if they ever watch this. Pint of lager, half a lager with lime. Yeah, was on their table before they sat down.
That, you see, service.
Yeah, and I prided myself on that because I just loved how they felt so special.
Yeah.
Coming to the restaurant on Saturday night, and then they'd come with Bob and Sue. So Bob and Sue, I learned their drink. So John and Sandra would always be, they loved impressing, and they felt flattered,
Yeah.
and they felt special because
But it's that personal touch,
personal,
you see.
the personal touch where they'd come in and they'd think, this is our place.
Yeah.
And it was.
And they came back every week.
They came back every Saturday,
Yeah.
and then every Friday. 2 days became 3 days. Then they had grandchildren. They'd come on a Sunday. So it was a family affair
Yeah.
because I saw them grow. If they didn't come on a Saturday, I'd want to know, where are they? What's wrong with them? So the next Saturday, if they didn't come, John, Sandra, where were you? I didn't see you. Because they'd ask about my life.
And you even saying that
Yeah.
would show them that you're not just a waiter or a barman or
To
you
this
care.
day, I saw their son. This is 20 years later. I saw their son Steve 4 days ago, who we still, he's done great things, and they're in glazing and whatnot. And we caught up like we'd not missed each other
Yeah.
for years. I haven't
Yeah.
seen him for 7, 8 years, but we see each other when we drive and everything else. But we spoke for a good 10, 15 minutes, just about cars, of course. Sorry, and property, of course. Yeah, cut that, please. My two new passions. But we spoke, and that was off 20 years ago relationship. So you never fundamentally forget the people who come into your life. They are the models and role models of who we are now.
Yeah.
Who teach you things. They were people that I learned. They were people who cared. And likewise, I gave that love and passion back to them and their family. And it taught me things
Yeah.
that education will teach you, but you keep going.
Yeah.
You keep going. Education doesn't finish when you leave school.
Oh no. It can if you want it
Yeah.
to. You haven't wanted it to. Your education, Mo, seems to have magnified, your need for education seems to have magnified the further we're going up to now anyway.
Absolutely. And I just feel so hungry for learning.
Yeah.
Constantly. And you said earlier, yeah, I still know there is so much to do, so much to learn. I haven't fulfilled my prophecy
Potential.
Yeah. Yet. I know there's more. I've been destined to this world to deliver.
Yeah.
And I'm almost there, and I'm getting there, and I'm feeling happy and positive with the energy and the blessings that I'm giving and receiving.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's only when I know, when you get the nice cars and whatever, it's great.
The fruits of your labour.
Absolutely. And I love it. However, can I live without it? Yes, 1000%.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think that would be possible for me to say that.
Yeah.
And I genuinely promise you, I told you earlier, one of my cars I want to get, sold.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have thought that if that was all it was going to be about. But now I live it through people, and now I see the inspiration that it brings to them is a joy.
Yeah.
So I know, and I've known for a while, that doing certain things in my life's work now is a legacy to help people bring and become something or whatever they want to become. And it's doable on every facet.
You see, for me, you've taken your services from your restaurant work into your property development. But because of how personal you made your restaurant work,
Yeah.
it seems that's came with you and made where you are now so personal. You've kind of magnified that facet of you, really. You know, you've come into the property world. You've worked extremely hard to get where you are now.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's start at the property beginning. So you started working for a corporate company through the guy you met in the restaurant.
Absolutely, yeah. So the corporate company, and so yes, sorry, I do waffle, so apologies. But no, so they loved the way that our relationship was, and obviously he was a chief director at this firm.
So successful businessman.
Very successful, very, very successful. No, I always knew as well, he just had something about him, very polite, very courteous. So, you know, in life, these are the things, the traits that are always magnified. And you can see, there's signs in front of us that we should gravitate to and take and listen. So, yeah, he loved my enthusiasm for life in the restaurant.
Can I ask you, Mike?
Yes.
Did this guy ask you to work for him?
Yes.
Okay. You've just said there about him, he was very polite, very well-mannered, very courteous. Don't you think he thought the same about you?
Yes, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to see at what point would a successful property developer come to a restaurant and ask the manager, head waiter, you know, your job title, to come and work for him. That's it. Yeah. Listen, this is automatically telling me a lot about you, Mo. Right. This is telling me a lot about you. You know, you've just said he was very polite, he was very courteous, very well-mannered, very respectful. He obviously thought the same about you to ask you to work for him.
Yes.
So you've started to work for this guy.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and I never ever would have thought of it like that, and never did. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But yes, I jumped at the first opportunity. I mean, I didn't know, and I actually remember saying that I don't know what it involves, but I remember saying I'll work 6 days, 7 days a week to learn, and I'm a quick learner, and I'd be flattered to come down and honoured. And he basically said, look, you can start weekends and then we'll go from there. First weekend I went, suited and booted, I think.
Dickie bow?
I think I took the Dickie bow off because I wore it so much it wasn't being changed. So actually that was my first, I say first love of ties. I've always loved ties, and I would have put a special one on for you, but I just, Saturday.
It's Saturday. You can have a Saturday off for inside.
Tie. No, I went shopping. I got a new suit. It was nothing expensive. Gosh, obviously, remember, I didn't have much money.
Yeah.
So I think Burton's, back, then was the place to go. And, I got the full outfit for under £100. I was so chuffed to bits because I got shoes, socks, everything, the whole shooting match, and I was delighted. And you know what? It made me feel great, and again, it stems to. It's not about the value, but the fact that it could have been £20 or £100, but I got the new outfit for my first day of work.
Yeah.
Putting a clean shirt, or clean tie, clean t-shirt, or something, doesn't matter what it is, makes you feel right. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Attitude, self-preservation, and new start.
And it gives your mindset the positivity.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, I still do it, and gosh, people who know me must probably want to kill me because now I want to put a new shoe on for every single day, or socks, or whatever it is. But that's
just pride in yourself. That's
pride in myself. Absolutely, I want to be the best person I am every single day, and that's my own way of working. It's not I want anyone to be like that. It's just the way I put myself forward every day. I am somebody different. Every day is going to be different. Every day I need to go with conviction. Every day I have a different purpose. So I treat every day as my first day.
Brilliant, brilliant. That is so brilliant. No, that's
So
just a
cheesy.
great statement. No, it's a great statement.
Yeah.
Every day should be treated as your first
and I
day.
still do, and I think, you know, the first day, you know, when I started agency, just fell in love. Just fell in love again with your job. I say role, it was another open forum. I was in my element. I could speak to people every single day, which again, of course, clearly love talking, but it was.
Yeah.
It was amazing that I was able to be a part of something else.
Yeah.
And it was a game changer because, you know, leading up to my life in whatever way, getting to know people. Now I was on a spectrum where I was going shopping with people for their next move or their last move.
Yeah.
Wow. You know,
Yeah, that's
where they were going to live, the decisions they were going to make, I didn't know back then, 25 years
just
later,
how big they are.
how big that little decision is. Not a little decision, it's the biggest decision that anyone will ever
Yeah.
make.
Yeah.
And people say, you know, the three things, getting married, having a house, having a baby, the three most stressful things. And again, remember I said earlier, there's no, or, you know,
It's all one
it's
umbrella.
all one umbrella.
It's all under the one, yeah.
It's all under one umbrella. You know, to have that baby, you have to have the relationship, you have to have the house.
It's called life.
It's life.
It's life.
And it's that balance sheet. That balance sheet. Now, I was part of that balance sheet.
Yeah.
In some way.
You're a big, I would say a big part of that balance sheet, Mo, because you, in effect, are orchestrating that person's life decision
Yeah.
to be the best decision for them.
Wow.
So you've got to take yourself out of your comfort zone
Yes.
and put yourself into theirs
Yes.
to make that decision positive for them.
Huge, and I'll never forget it. I will never ever forget it. And you know, when people say, you know, forget you first and whatever that may be, and you don't, but you know, it wasn't about the first. I just saw what was gonna become, I think, then, because all of a sudden, you know, somebody coming through the door, you know, they were petrified, and you can feel it. Remember, because of the way I was not street savvy. I was savvy when I was 8 years old, as in understanding life, because I was in that trade. I was growing up with people. I was comfortable walking in any environment, meeting somebody at the age of 6 or the age of 60.
Yeah.
I've spoken to them
Yeah.
when I was a young boy in different languages.
Yeah.
So people were walking in for the first time to speak to somebody in a different profession. And I can see the trembling, and I can see the nervousness, the shyness, the anxiety. So many characteristics. As I said earlier, I loved people watching.
Yeah.
I remember, so that was where it wasn't a skill set, but all of a sudden, the mechanisms that you said, I love that word, the mechanism of life just kicked in.
Yeah.
And it just got to work.
Yeah.
It was right, okay, what do I do? Hi, hello,
But
how are you? Nice to meet you.
But it worked,
you
Mo,
know.
because you found that balance.
Absolutely. So, you know, the whole going over to people. So I naturally, as soon as people come to the door, I'd get out my seat and go to the door. And open the door and shake their hand and say, hi, hello, nice to meet you. And there's a thing, you know, people laugh because I constantly say it all the time, hi, hello, how are you? And it's a thing that I've always said to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what they're in for, but it's that first, I want to greet them.
Yeah.
And I used to do that. And everyone in the office used to think, what's wrong with this lad? It was Norton. Hey up, Wolf.
What's
What
up
you
with
doing?
this, lad?
Hey, love. Yeah, it was a lot of that. But I think they quickly, they loved what?
It's nice to be nice, isn't it?
Absolutely. But again, it doesn't cost a thing. And I know it's cliche, isn't it? There's a lot of things that in life are that old rule. It doesn't cost anything to be nice. It doesn't cost anything to listen. It doesn't, you know, we have time. We make time.
Yeah.
That's the one
Yeah.
thing that you can't buy, but it's the most priceless thing.
That's right.
Where's that balance? And this is the thing I've fought with and people fight with every single day of their lives. I know.
Yeah.
Because I'm in that industry where people say, do I have time? Gosh, it's the hardest thing to get on that balance sheet.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone says make time.
Yeah.
Listen, when we've lost it, we've lost it.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. 5 seconds ago, it's gone.
Done.
Yeah.
You know, now even thinking about, you know, opening up to you, how actually quite nervous I was this morning and everything else. You know, the start, how I would have done it is gone.
Yeah.
So we are who we are. So we've got to act now in the present moment.
That's right.
Give everything and give it all in the best of our ability and give the time.
Tomorrow's never promised.
Tomorrow is never promised.
Yeah.
And, you know, the whole carpe diem, live forever, it's true. But do it. Do it with conviction.
Yeah.
But don't just live it by, I want to run the marathon. Because, again, I want to do all of those things. But the marathon of life.
Yeah.
In front of us.
One long marathon. It's one big marathon.
Right? That end finish goal is the day we go.
Yeah.
That's the end line.
I often say, Mo, an analogy for me in life is a 15-round fight.
Wow.
We have some good rounds.
Yes.
We have some bad rounds.
Yes.
You bet your life we come out for the next round, though.
Absolutely.
We've got to. To get to that 15th round, we've got to fight for it.
Yes.
All the way through. And I think it's an analogy for life for everybody, really. It's all a struggle.
Yeah.
So you worked for this corporate company, Mo, for 10 years? 15 years?
No, less, but for that company, probably about 3 years, but still the same firm, but moved back to Northampton. So I left.
Oh, so you came back here but still worked for the same...
Yes, so that was, you know, I mean, again, you'll probably say something different. I felt very lucky that, you know, there was a firm, the corporate firm in Northampton.
But it would have felt very lucky because you're moving back to your family.
Correct.
You know, you've got your familiar surroundings back now.
Yeah.
You're still working for the same people you were working for in Barnsley.
That's right. Well, my mum wasn't well, and you know, it was a split decision. It wasn't a decision. Pack my bags, and just came, you know, back to Northampton.
Yeah.
But the firm I worked for, they said, no, we have a place in Northampton. We'll get you a transfer. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
See, things are meant to be sometimes.
yeah.
So when did you make the conscious decision you're going to work for yourself?
I think, you know what, the conscious decision, I've always, and I know this is going to be an absolute mind-blowing metaphor, possibly, I've always worked for myself.
Yeah.
Yes, somebody's always probably paid my wage or dictated what, however, I've always seen this as I've worked for me, and, you know, when I say work for me, I've been me. So, you know, I've not had a script. I've never been an order taker. I've always been
Your own man.
my own man,
Yeah.
so to speak. And, you know, people have come to me because they want me to help them. So I feel privileged that, you know, I've been able to work under an umbrella and learn the disciplines of the work balance sheet, understanding, you know, and I did. Trust me, I learned a lot and learning every day about the property market, the industry. I've met great people, experience how people work. It's a blessing, you know, no one person is better than anyone else. We are all different beings, we are. That's the beauty.
Yeah.
But if we can take one thing from one person and another thing from another person, how beautiful could we become?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the adaptation that I looked at. But, you know, answer to your question is, last year, COVID, obviously, massive change in the world, of course. Me and the two directors I'm with, we just decided to join forces. It was always there, it was always in the back of my head to create something create something special. And hopefully, you know, this is the start of something that, you know, is beautiful and it's that marination of life I said earlier, I think that has been pottering away
Yeah.
for the right time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a bottle of whiskey. Gosh, I can't believe I'm going from agency to whiskey. However, the thought process. Are you a whiskey drinker?
I'm not a drinker at all,
Okay,
no.
but people who are aged whiskey is, you know, you get it out
Yeah,
when it's
yeah,
ready.
yeah.
And I guess, you know, that's the metaphor I want to use is you'll know when it's time.
Yeah.
And yes, as I said, you know, you should always just go for it. But this has, you know, just kind of, I guess, marinated for years. And we're very blessed, lucky, honoured and humbled that we're able to now do it together, making a vision and an experience that will uphold and deliver something unique
Yeah.
and showcase.
Yeah, I don't think it's very visible what you've done up to now, Mo. You've put a lot into communities. You've put a lot into the work what you're doing. A massive amount. But no one sings your song about what you do for charities, Mo. You know, and it's not just, you don't just single out one charity. You do a lot for numerous charities. Is this something you'd be good talking about?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's very close to my heart for sure. I think it's you know, as a younger being, you know, we go through life thinking we want. Well, I certainly thought I want this and all the nice things, and you have it, and then you think, okay, and but then you look at it, and it's all something that, of course, I've self-driven and gone and worked for myself.
Yeah.
However, then, you know, you look back and you know, genuinely feel fortunate every single day because there is so many, too many unfortunate positions life throws people. And when I say unfortunate, it could be, you know, they haven't had the same opportunities. But, you know, I think I've always felt that together, you know, yeah, we are stronger together. It's, as I said, you know, if we can learn one thing. But I learned from, as I say, you know, people who can't walk. You know, my mum, for instance, she can walk, by the way, but she had a stroke and she lost, you know, walking properly.
Yeah.
And it hurt me in a way that you think we take advantage just the littlest things in life.
Yeah.
And I think it stems from that. Then you look at everything in a different eye, different, you know, a view. And we have to look at life in different angles.
Yeah.
Good, bad, ugly doesn't matter. There's no such thing. It's just life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some look better than others. And you know what? The ones which don't look better, we should do more. As human beings, whilst we're here, we can create something spectacular, and we've got to pave the way.
Yeah, but you see, a lot of people, Mo, in these times, they're not as, I'm going to say, they're not as passionate about giving. That's the right word I'm looking for. They're not as passionate about giving to others because I think a lot of society now is based on greed,
Yeah.
materialistic things, but I think the social media side of life has got a lot to answer for in that respect.
Yes, for sure.
But what you've done is through your success, you've given and still are giving, you know, so much to these charities. You're giving the National Health Service massive benefits. You're giving the Bruno Foundation, a boxing. You're doing so much for so many different things.
Yeah.
So your personality is shaped on giving back.
It is.
You know, you're not one of these guys what are just sitting taking.
I'm, you know, gosh,
But excuse me, Mo, sorry.
no.
But you see, today we're sitting down and we're talking about this. People don't see this. They see Mo in the successful, you know, they don't see what you're giving
Yeah.
to other people. So, and I think, listen, the people who do it in silence are the most commendable. They're just, and you're doing everything, Mo, under the radar, but you're getting that satisfaction because you know in your own heart,
Yeah.
you've given.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, thank you. And no, you're right. It's the giving. You're absolutely right. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm a giver. You know, I always have been. And sometimes, you know, probably people have thought, no, you know, you shouldn't give this and you shouldn't. It's not about shoulda, woulda, coulda. It never.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
It's not. Give.
Yeah.
Give with a heart not to receive.
Yeah.
You know, me and two of the guys, the directors, we have a saying, open your arms and let it come.
Yeah.
Open your arms and see where it will take us.
Yeah.
You know, give. Give with a heart, pure heart.
Yeah.
And it's an irreplaceable reward. It
Well,
really is.
Karma
Yeah.
finds that balance.
Yes.
You know, when you give, you get back.
Yeah, I mean, I had an opportunity recently, you know, a festival, car festival, Goodwood, and it's been a passion to go. As you know, I love my cars,
Yeah.
property, and no, it's been a passion, absolute passion to go, and I was so blessed and lucky, honoured. A chap gave me 2 tickets last minute, and I was honestly, I did shed a tear, happy tear. And I was so happy and looking forward to it. But I met somebody else within a space of 24 hours, and their boy, 8 years, 10 years old, and they were going on about this lad. They bought their first home from us. So, again, what an experience, and how truly blessed we were to welcome them into their first home. And it never goes. 25 years later, still love that buzz, that energy, that passion for people coming in, see that smile.
Yeah.
When we give them the keys to their first or last home, it's just beautiful. But they mentioned something about their young lad, and it just broke my heart, as in melted my heart in a way that they were so proud of this boy, and they showed me their Instagram of cars and everything else. I had to.
I know.
You know.
I know where you're going to come out.
Yeah. But I drove down there and I gave him tickets.
Yeah, he went to Goodwood.
He
You
did.
didn't.
He did, absolutely. You know, honestly, no. And they sent me pictures. I mean, I didn't give it to him because just in case the parents. I felt a bit bad afterwards because I thought, gosh, the parents are going to think, what, we can't go. So I didn't want to build up the child's hopes. But it just melted me in a way that, you know, the parents had spoke about their child. And I thought, I'm sure he will have opportunities, as I will.
Yeah.
Of course. But the fact that I had the tickets was enough. And so, yeah, I drove down there, and I wanted to, you know, see the look in his eyes, but I didn't. I gave it to the parents and said, look, if you think you can make it, give it to him. But he went. I mean, he shared pictures, which I'll show you later.
Lovely.
He cried, he enjoyed it, but you know what? Wow.
Lovely. And you will feel so much from that act.
Oh, gosh.
You know.
I felt like I've been there through him.
Yeah, yeah. You've lived it through this kid, yeah.
And that's what it is. That's the thing that, you know, we can all make a difference. We all do make a difference without knowing.
Yeah.
We all have those moments in life. It's not about the tickets. It's far from that. It's about the good intention.
Yeah.
Have a good intention, reach out, and it comes back. And that feel factor then stems to thinking, you know, the breathing.
Yeah.
You know, the cycle.
Yeah.
The feeling. Then your next day, what your mentality, your physical, emotional connection with people will be on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
Will change.
Oh, it always changes.
It changes.
It always changes.
And as soon as then you meet great people like you. And no, you do, because again, you know, and I'm not going to put you on the spot, but what you're doing is amazing. You don't realise in the getting it out to people. I mean, you know, you think, you know, we're the lucky. We're not. We're just giving our story. But you, who is truly getting it out there to inspire people. How much time are you giving today? How much time are you giving tomorrow?
Yeah.
it's people like you who is delivering these messages every single day is inspirational. So
Thank you, mate.
thanks to you.
No, thank you. So, look, we're where we're at now. What are your plans for the future?
Oh gosh, the
Because
million dollar question.
It's,
Yeah.
well, it could be a 10, $20 million question. The rapidity of,
Yes.
your progress, Mo, through your hard work
Yeah.
and commitment, dedication, discipline, you've kind of forced, through your motivation and your visions, you've forced a very rapid growth.
Yes.
So where does it go from here?
So I think, and I'm still. I mean, as I said earlier, I'm hungrier than ever been before because I'm on that wave of life where I want to keep giving and I won't stop. So now I've got a platform. Well, we have a platform with individuals, companies, corporates. So we're spreading the word on a national level. I'm going to networkers, developers events where it's not about making money and it's not about them. It's about what we can do together. So landscaping towns and cities for a better future for people, children, disabled, supported living, mental health. Every single cycle life will throw at people. We are ambassadors of our choice. We are ambassadors of our jobs.
Yeah, great description. Yeah.
So I've got to open the door and listen. And it's not about being an agent. It's about listening and delivering and listening, delivering and taking it to a podium and a stadium where I've got access to thousands of people. Thousands and thousands who come to my life every single day, every single year. How can I connect? It's about connecting. Now I just want to connect the dots. I have all the dots, well, as many, and the dots are growing every single day.
And like you say, you've got that platform to join them now.
It's a platform to join them.
Yeah.
And it's now saying, do you know what? You can help with that. She can help with this. We can help with this. We can all help together. And it's painting that canvas.
Yeah.
It's painting that canvas of life where we're happy that we're giving. When you inspire 10 people come back and they want to do more.
Yeah.
You have an army. You have a foundation. You have a government of people.
Yeah.
Who listen, who make change. So I don't want to change anybody.
And the louder the voice, the bigger the change.
But together, when people vote and people, our voices have always been the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just not been synchronized.
Yeah.
Because we speak different languages.
Different cultures.
Different elements. Because of the way your background is sports.
Yeah.
My background is restaurant. How are we here together?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's connecting the dots and speaking the same language. Now, 20 years ago, we might have not spoken the same language.
That's right.
And when I say that language, it's understanding each other.
It's the understanding of each other. But life with growth gives that understanding.
Yeah.
And we can only understand that process through life.
Yes. And listening and wanting to listen.
And wanting to learn.
Wanting to learn.
Yeah.
Seeing the hardship and the good ship and the bad ship.
Yeah.
And not categorizing anybody at any given time in their lives.
That's right.
Because we'll all be there and we've all been there and we may continue to get there.
And we may go back to where we were.
So we've got to line up in a way that everyone's happy. There's no time scale.
None at all.
That's the beautiful thing about life is it's not, I'm the kind of guy, I'm a doer and I want to do things, but I want to do things properly. And I've learned in life that, it may take a day, it may take a year, it may take a millennium. It'll be beyond me. But I have the opportunity to make a little indentation while I'm alive to make the context of who I'm involved with form a language we all understand.
Yeah.
We not joke about it. Actually, we did something last week where we call it Archways. We speak your language, and we mean that because we're rolling out different fluent speaking Latvian, Romanian, Germany, English, Russian, French,
Yeah.
Arabic. We have all of that access.
Yeah.
So last week we started our first live launch day, which was We Speak Your Language. So it was for people who speak Romanian. Because how hard is it for you to come into a country? How hard is it for you to
Unbelievably hard.
come to a country and work? If you had to go to Bangladesh,
Yeah.
how hard would you
It
find it
would be
immediately?
horrific.
But you're the toughest guy in the world.
It would be terribly hard.
You've been in the ring with enough people, right?
Yeah.
You're a strong person.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You go to another country, how hard is that?
Terribly hard.
And every
Even to
single-
another town, Mo.
Exactly. So and these are the things we see face every single day. But we ignore it because we don't understand the language.
Yeah.
It's because we're either been ignorant to understand it, learn it.
But I think a lot of it is we're not willing to put ourselves, Mo, in that person's shoes.
Yes.
You know, you've actively put yourself in so many people's shoes because you're giving a bespoke personal service here. This is not your average estate agent, property developer, whatever. You know, this is not your average, Mo. I know this is not your average. I think you do too.
Yeah.
You've given such a personal, warm, so warm and welcoming. You know, because a lot of people are very daunted, very intimidated even,
Yeah.
going to speak to a property developer about
Oh my
buying a
gosh.
new home.
Well, you know, you say that. I mean, I'm still, after all these years, I still get nervous, anxious, anxiety, heart palpitations when I go into an agency. Now, I don't need to be, but I have all of those anxieties and fears because I know what's expected. So that's why, you know, the way that we've created what we've created, it is almost a life metaphor that we have to let people be, we have to understand, but to do that, truly do that, we have to get them comfortable.
Yeah,
In an environment that they don't understand, they don't speak, but they want to.
yeah,
Because everyone does.
yeah,
Everybody.
Yeah.
That's fact. That's the one thing I know that life has taught me is everybody wants to better.
that's right.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter how measured it is, we want to be the better people we are.
yeah. The best we can be.
The best we can be.
Yeah,
And we want the house and everything else and all the rest of it. But that's where, you know, if we understand one another, and if we don't, let's learn. Let's take a step, 3 steps back. There's no rush. Let's actually think and put a plan together
yeah,
and take our time to understand that different person.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
and they're the things in real estate, and you know, when people come in and you said, you know, I put different shoes on and I put, you know, a lot of walks of life because I've seen it over decades, and it's then my decision when I wake up in the morning to think, how am I going to make a difference? I know I want to make a difference, and I will, 1,000%.
I think you already have made a massive impact and difference, Mo. You know, you've housed people. How many people have had their first home through
Oh
you?
my gosh, I
Look,
can't.
like you
even
say, Mo,
have
it's
a
massive.
guess.
Your
Yeah.
first home move is massive.
Yeah.
Whatever age you are.
Yeah.
You could be a 70-year-old.
Yes,
You could be a 20-year-old. It's still a massive move.
of course it is.
So from your first ownership, you've changed a lot of lives. So going forward, you know, you've obviously got great plans for the future.
Yeah.
Just absolutely commendable. But you will be taking so many people with you. You know, it's
Yeah.
not this ship you've set sail, Mo. We all know the captain don't do it on his own. The captain does it with a team. I know, I'm quite confident in saying this, I know from what I know of you, you will take that whole team with you. And the ship, I doubt very much will sink.
No.
Absolutely so commendable. From where you've come from to where you are now, everybody is capable.
Yes.
You know, your family came here, you know, I'm from Irish immigrant family. Our families come here, our previous generations, with nothing. My dad had to sleep in a shed for 3 months. There was Manchester, Preston, there were signs all over the place, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs.
That's right.
He had to sleep in someone's garden shed for a few months.
You know what you said there though as well, and you know we didn't touch, and it's not necessary. However, you know there are things that it is true. It is ingrained in us that even when I grew up, racism and all the rest of it, of course, was there massively.
But you didn't let it get in the way of your work ethic or your goals.
No.
And you see, this is where I think, Mo, a lot of people dwell on the victim of,
Yes.
you know, and
Yes.
you haven't, you've just kicked your front door open every morning, got out to work, come home, and you've lived your life.
Yeah.
You've made your life a success because of your discipline, because of your goals,
Yeah.
because of what you want from life. So we're getting close to the end, but I'm going to ask a couple of little one-line questions before the end.
Oh gosh.
No, this
Okay.
is
Yes.
it's just a little bit of fun. This is.
Okay.
But no, absolutely. Mo, where you've came from, where you are, and where you're going, is an absolute so inspiring, so motivating. This is what I want to give to these kids watching this, whoever watches this. We can, if we want. You know, if the desire's there, the belief's there, we can achieve it.
Absolutely.
You've proved this. You know, you're still proving it, Mo. You're still stepping up your goals. It seems when you do reach a certain goal, you want to set another one.
You move on. You keep moving. You keep moving. You know the one of the things that you guys do, again, you know, keep it short. You know, the whole physical side of life is movement, is body balance.
Yeah.
And the same, you know, contentment isn't just. Look, contentment is contentment, but attitude, you know, and want and drive and believe, they're never ending.
Yeah.
You know, and that doesn't have an end goal. Goals are there to be moved.
But to be raised as well. Yeah.
Raised.
To be raised. And
Yes.
you're raising them all the time, Mo. So commendable. And look, you're a local lad. What's just magnifying the potential of this town beautifully. You know, a lot of, you know, you've got so many successful stories in this town.
Yes.
I want to get out there. I want to show these kids. You don't have to live that life. You can work hard and succeed and be this person, what you dreamed of being when you were that age.
Yes.
Just put your mind to it, put effort to it. You can get that. I think you will be such a portrait for that, Mo.
Thank you.
So we're going to finish on a couple of one-liners, yeah?
Okay. Let's do this. Do we have a warm-up?
No warm-up.
Joking.
No warm-up.
Okay.
Favourite film?
Godfather. Trilogy.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Gladiator as well. I've got to say Gladiator.
Gladiator. Who don't love
I
Gladiator?
watch it. Oh God, many Saturday Sundays.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Brilliant.
But, and I will throw a bit of grease in there as well. The music.
Yeah, well, okay. And,
But yeah,
and a dance routine.
But the Godfather and the music to the Godfather. Now, if people haven't watched this, please just
Amazing.
listen to the music. Mario Puzo, my gosh.
Yeah.
It's not creativity, it's live. And the music of life, beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack, The Godfather.
Yes.
Okay. Favourite food?
Favourite food? Chicken. Grilled chicken.
Chicken?
Everyone who knows me will say that. Grilled chicken, I could eat 7 days a week, 8 days a week.
Okay. Favourite car?
Wow.
Now, we could be here for a while now.
Yeah, oh my God, we really could. And oh my gosh.
You're only allowed to pick one.
Look, I'm gonna. Favorite car, as in dream car that you won't ever have, or I'm gonna say.
Okay. I'm going to split this question.
Thank you.
Favorite car you hope to have, and the favorite car that you have had.
Oh gosh, that's really hard because I've been very blessed. Favorite car I've ever had is the Ferrari
Right.
360 Medina.
Beautiful.
It's been it's a dream, and look, my hairs are raised now thinking I've touched. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely blessed. But it's one of those war poster moments in life that never would I have ever dreamt of thinking that, wow, looking at that poster, that I would have touched a car and not then to actually own one. Dream of dreams. So yeah, that's tick tick tick.
Yeah. Dream car.
Dream car. I spoke about it this morning with my guys, and I would like a Lamborghini at some point in my life, just as a box ticker, bucket list, just to feel what it's all about. Of some description. But a classic Aston Martin now. You're talking about language.
Yeah.
Perhaps one day. So yeah, I think the list could go on for a while because I'm passionate about cars because of what it means, and it's there is a historic and a mechanical element to it. So yeah, I love cars like everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite country.
England.
Brilliant.
England.
Brilliant.
Wow. England. This is my home. It's been my home. It's, when people say homesick, you go away, and I've been blessed again. I've been to corners of the world and the countries, and Dubai and Bahamas and Maldives and wherever, in Dominican. There's so many beautiful places in the world. Home is home.
Right.
England.
You've hit the home. We've hit the home button, okay? So that's your favourite country. Your favourite holiday destination.
Wow. Where I want to go, or?
Want to go, been, but you're going to know you're coming back to England. Okay, so it's just holiday destination, wherever.
Do you know what? Dominican Republic, I'm going to say, because it holds very special memories. It's a whole country. However, the people.
Yeah.
How they have transformed that country into not luxury, pure luxury, second level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's a beautiful place.
And we've been many a times, and again different places. But yeah, I'll probably say the heart says that place. Has a lot of fond memories.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Favourite football team.
Favourite football team. So who's winning at the moment? Let me see. No, I know I am that guy. Gosh, I love England for football. I've never followed football. My brothers have followed Liverpool and Chelsea, of course, and Man United. So look, I'm not going to say either. I'm going to say Cobbler's being diplomatic. No, I'm not. There's a favourite football team. You know what? I'll probably get slashed for it, but I'm going to stick with Liverpool because I've grown up being a Liverpool. Ian Rush, Bruce Grobbler.
That era. That was a good team, though.
That was a Kenny Dalglish.
Yeah.
It was just great. And even Man United, Gordon Strachan, and these guys.
But we will never see that kind of football era again. When men were men.
Men were men, but skills were just different, and they didn't get too bob for what they get now.
No.
So it meant something else. So
Yeah.
I'll go with Liverpool.
Okay. Favourite boxer.
Muhammad Ali.
Oh my God.
Come on,
Okay,
hello,
on the same
Muhammad
shit.
Ali.
Same shit.
Muhammad Ali. Love that guy. Love everything he stands for.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't just a boxer, was he? He was political. He was everything a man should be.
Can bring tears to your eye, can raise hairs on your neck, and just what a guy.
Yeah.
What a mentor.
Okay. I'm going to throw one out there. AJ or Usyk in the rematch.
AJ.
Really?
It was just a guess. Forgive me. Yeah.
Okay. A lot. Well, listen, look.
Look, everyone has a chance.
Listen, everyone's got a chance.
Everyone's got a chance.
Everyone has a chance. That's
Right.
right. Favorite animal?
Favorite animal. I love. This is gonna sound so. Oh, I love fish. I love fish. I don't know if that's not an animal.
The most relaxing
Yeah.
species to watch, I think, ever.
You know, I would just love to look at. I would love a tank with fish and sharks and whales.
So you're going back to the Maharaja Tandoori days.
I am, but you know what? They're lovely. They're lovely. They just eat. They just get on with it. They just keep swimming.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Finding Nemo, one of my old classic Disneys. So maybe there's something there linked with Finding Nemo. I don't know. But yeah, I love fish.
Okay. I think we've more or less got to the end of it there, Mo. But before we go, do you want to say thanks to anybody or?
Yeah, gosh, I want to say thanks to everyone who knows me, from a young child. Of course, my mum, my father, who's sadly passed away. But you know what? Thank you to all my friends from school and basically, you know, people who've come into my life who have given me a lot and the opportunities I've been given. So names beyond me. But they know who they are.
Yeah.
The people who've been in my lives, they definitely know who they are because we've had experiences and life experiences, even though we may not speak every day, but we can pick it up like that. And I'm always there for them. And the people who are in my life, who they miss, you know, I get slated for, in a good way, I never speak to you, never see you. It's out of love, and I get that. But they know they're unforgotten. So I want to say thanks to everyone. Thanks to the guys, the directors I'm with at Archways for making our dreams come true. Thanks to the public for believing in me as an individual, having a leap of faith.
Yeah.
And thanks to the people who don't know me yet.
But will.
And most of all, thank you.
Mo?
You honestly, you blew me away asking me to come have a chat. I love talking, so no, I think you're doing an amazing thing. I really do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you enough.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Mo, from the bottom of my heart for coming on. Is it really worth it and giving a massively inspiring pod?
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, my man. Thank you. Okay?
Thank you very much.